After Zelda Dungeon put out a video on their top 15 Zelda games, I was sparked to make this video as it seemed like a good idea and I majorly disagreed with their opinion and I wanted to give mine. So without further ado, here are my top 5 Zelda games. Number 5 is Skyward Sword, which came out last year for the Nintendo Wii. It's the first game in the official timeline of Zelda as shown in Hyrule Historia. The reason why this is number 5 is because the gameplay with the Motion Plus controller, which obviously comes in this bundle, is by far my favourite gameplay out of any Zelda game, and the Ancient Cistern is my favourite temple from any Zelda game, I don't know. The boss from that temple, Koloktos, is also one of my favourites because it reminds me of Egypt and I still am really interested in that kind of thing. The only thing I didn't like about this game was the downgrade of graphics from Twilight Princess. So basically Skyward Sword's graphics are more cartoon-like compared to the immense detail in Twilight Princess's graphics. Number 4 is going to be controversial, but it's Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. Now the reason that I like this game is because everyone's favourite little leprechaun is the main antagonist and the Tower of Spirits is way better than the Temple of the Ocean King, albeit still slightly annoying. Most Zelda fans find Train Driver Link stupid, but he's cute. And actually, navigating the tracks was one of my favourite parts of this game. It was like a really fun element. I just found it fun. Number 3 that I don't have my copy of on me at the moment is Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64. I love the fact that this game is darker and it has a different atmosphere than other Zelda games, and the storyline is great. And it has the Skull Kid, and Skull Kid is my favourite Zelda character, as well as Tingle, who's also a great addition to this game. He's the map seller, if you didn't know. The difficulty is quite high as well, which is a good thing, instead of just being able to trundle through all the temples. The Water Temple and Stone Tower are challenging at some points, and it actually makes you think. Whatever, anyway, moving on. The side quest at the ranch is kind of annoying because when I was playing through Majora's Mask, I kept failing it and it was just kind of like, oh my gosh. And also having to save before the moon crashed into Termina and wiped everything out. I know that's like a main element of this game, but when you had 15 fairies and you didn't have time to get to the fairy fountain, that was annoying. Number 2 is Ocarina of Time for the original was for the N64, but then it was remastered for the Nintendo 3DS last year. This game is just amazing. It just is. The storyline is great, as well as the temples, especially the Shadow and the Spirit temples. Twin River is also one of my favourite bosses from the Zelda games, and the Big Round Sword quest is actually quite fun. I enjoyed that, and overall it's just a really fantastic game. The graphics and controls are obviously better on the 3DS version, and yes, this is unopened and I don't plan on opening it. And the graphics, the gameplay is obviously better on that version, but the N64 version is more nostalgic for me because I played it as quite a young child with my dad and stuff. My favourite Zelda game to date is Twilight Princess for the Nintendo Wii. The graphics for this game are fantastic, as mentioned with Skyward Sword. Obviously they lack because Twilight Princess is so good, and in my opinion are nothing compared to any of the Zelda games in the series. Another thing that I especially love about this game is the music, and I know quite a few people will agree with me on this one. Mina's Desperate Hour is one of my favourite BGMs, and the music for City in the Sky as well is great. The gameplay in this game is good as well, but obviously not as good as Skyward Sword because there was no Motion Plus at that time, and the storyline is awesome as well. The Temple of Time and City in the Sky are two of my favourite temples, and the Cave of Ordeals is great too. The only thing I didn't like about this game is the minor side quest, where you have to run with a barrel of spring water above your head across Hyrule Field, and where it's full of enemies and birds and the what are they called? Levers. But overall this game is just fantastic, which is why it's at number 1. Some people might be wondering where Wind Waker is in my top 5. I haven't actually played it, but I plan on getting a copy sometime in the near future. Feel free to leave your top 5 in the comments below, and links to everything will be in the description, and thanks for watching. Awesome t-shirt is awesome.